Hi, my name is Danette, and welcome to the very first episode of Sewing Down My Stash, my brand new YouTube channel, where I am going to document, hopefully, the very fun process of sewing down my stash. What I have behind me is my fabric, not anything too horrible. Unfortunately, there's another couple of shelves that I'll show you down there in a minute, and I also have a closet with a little too much fabric. I love buying fabric. I love sewing with fabric. I love petting fabric, making things out of fabric. But it's gotten to the point now where it's causing me stress, and I can't find things easily in my closet without having to juggle and move things around. So I thought, well, I'm sure I'm not the only one out there that would like to sew down some of my fabric, and I thought maybe you would like to come along for the ride. So here are the ground rules that I've set for myself. For every 2 yards that I sew, I can bring 1 yard in. It would be better if I made that even less yardage coming in, but I want to give myself some leeway and grace because I do love my fabric stores. I can always buy fabric to finish a project. If I have a quilt top, I need to buy backing for it. I will not count the backing as adding to my fabric stash because it's not. It's finishing a project to be done. Gifted fabric, if somebody gives me something, that's always allowed. If I love it, I'm keeping it. Sometimes when I'm walking down the aisles of the quilt store, there is fabric that it's like it has neon lights and it's shouting my name. It's like, Danette, Danette, buy me. I am not going to resist that call, that temptation. So I will allow myself, if I find myself something amazing at the fabric store, I'm going to buy it. If I need to adjust the rules later on, I can, because it's just a casual, fun channel. My rules. I can kind of do what I want. When I finish a project, I'm going to give myself a sticker on a sticker chart. A king-size quilt would be a sticker because it's a finished project. Or if I make a beanbag, it's a sticker because it is a finished project. I'm also going to keep track of about the amount of yardage that I use for each project. I was going to go through and inventory all of my fabric and how many yards I have so I could really document how many yards I'm sewing down, but quite frankly, that takes the joy and all of that out of it. I'm not going to have a list that I work off of. When I'm done with the project, whatever tickles my fancy is what I will do next. So I'm going to show you all of my fabric and then we'll come back and figure out what's next. Okay, we're starting out with my fabric shelf. This used to hold all of my piano and voice music. I've got a lovely grand piano here. Back in the day, I taught private piano and voice lessons. Currently, I teach school full-time. So yeah, over time, my music has been relocated to a different shelf and my fabric has been here. So I'll show you what I've got. On the top, I've got some pre-cuts and some duckies. I have quite a big rubber ducky collection. I might tell you more about that later. Got some flannels, quilting cotton, more quilt cotton, more cottons, more cottons. The bottom 2 shelves I just recently emptied this past weekend. Those were the last 2 shelves with music, and I moved those down to another bookshelf so that I could put fabric. That's why they're not quite as pretty as the other shelves, because they have not been organized and curated quite as nicely. In this basket here, we have some finished quilt tops. I know I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 quilt tops. I have the batting all cut. I think most of them, I think I just need to buy backing for one of the quilt tops, not pieces of fabric. So that's my bookshelf. Next, I will show you my closet. So this is the other side of the room from where I was sitting. We've got my shelf with a couple of sergers, different sewing supplies, bunch of patterns. And right here, this is it. This is the closet that is causing so much stress in my life. So let's open her up and I'll show you what we got going on. So from top down to the bottom. And I know it could be worse, but it's causing me stress. So quite frankly, that's what matters in this, because it's, you know, my closet, my stress. So up there, I've got, that's not batting and miscellaneous. That is actually a box of vintage embroidered pillowcases that I eventually want to make a quilt out of. That bin on the bottom has a bunch of my father-in-law's old shirts. I was going to make a quilt out of it. Haven't done that yet, obviously. We've got some Cuddle fabric, minky backings for quilts. Got more along that side. The next shelf down is mostly leftover from scrapbooking. I have not done that in quite a while, but I still have a lot of my paper. Got some cute fabric right there. I've got, in this bin, there's my thread. Those are fat quarters in the bottom drawer. This bag here, my mom made me. There's a bunch of my lace and rickrack and trim. And there's more lace in here. This is my little iron. Let's move it for a minute. This right here has some unfinished projects in it, mostly little dish towels that I want to make hangers to hang on my oven. That's not too awful bad. I've got some fabric back there. This adorable elephant. I made the dog that goes with this. It is so cute. Hopefully eventually we'll get to the elephant, or I'll give it to my mom. She's actually the one that bought it. I just put it in my closet. We'll see which of us sews it first. This right here is mostly clothing fabric. And I got more of that back here. Oh, there's the pattern for the dog that I did. I did that one down there. The price tag is covering it, but it's super cute. Anyway, I've got all of that. Fashion fabric. What bothers me is that I have to, I have to move stuff around to get to what I want to get to, and that's not fun. Down here, this is my Goodwill score. That is awfully nice to sit on at sewing retreats. This box right here, patterns. The stripe one back there, patterns. These are cute little eyes. I bought them for the elephant with the Shannon Cuddle fabric. There's my favorite fluff ever. Get it at Hobby Lobby. That stuff is amazing. Right here, there's that top red basket that has bias tape and trim. And then underneath, that's a bunch of Christmas fabric that I would like to make something out of. These are some Minnie Mouse bags I made years ago. I'll show it to you. This is really cute. This is my wallet for years. Obviously, very well loved, very worn out. I didn't have a pattern for it. I just made it up as I went. I knew what size I wanted it for my phone to fit in. And one of these days, I've got stuff to make another one. Probably a couple of bags in there. This right here is a quilt that I want to make. I've got some extra, I bought a remnant of Shannon Cuddle fabric, which is my favorite. I'm a Cuddle snob. And I thought it was a 60-inch wide and it was 90. So I had enough for another baby quilt. So sometime I will make that up. This right here is my basket of unfinished projects. There's a couple of dresses in there that need to be finished, and that one I just need to fix some darts in. That striped dress down there, that needs to be finished. This is, well, there's a dress right here, and then the rest of it's just extra fabric. These right here are my, oh, that top one is just felt. That one, I teach sewing classes at my school. That will eventually, most of it, end up at school. And then I've got scraps in those bins right there, as well as the red one there on the bottom. Going down, this shelf is not bad. I've got a project that I'm working on, I think those are Christmas stockings. Project that I'm working on. This right here is just thread. These drawers just have different things in them. Some of them have notions, some have office supplies. I'm not going to show you the ones in the back because, well, that's too much work. Let me move some of my stuff back up. At the bottom there, I've got the cases for 3 of my sewing machines. The black one is my Featherweight. The red is a Janome. The purple is a Juki. And then this side does not cause me much stress either. This is mostly just my office supplies, although I do have some Cuddle fabric there. That was a remnant that I bought. My Mickey Mouse ears because, well, those need to remain handy. So there you go. That's my closet. I know by some standards it's really not bad, and at the beginning of the summer it was much worse, but I hate having to move stuff to get things. So yeah, I need to sew down my stash. I would love to eventually have all of my fabric in here either sewn or out on the bookshelf. So that is the big goal. We'll see how I do on that. So that's it. That is my fabric stash, at least everything that I have in these 2 areas. I think that's pretty much most of it. I try to consolidate down so I'm not going all over the place trying to find fabric and having it cause even more stress in my life. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the journey of watching me sew down my stash. I would love to have you join me and tell me, how big is your stash? Bigger, less? I don't know. Ideally, I would love to just have 2 shelves of fabric and then be able to bring my music back in here again. That would be the ultimate dream goal. Anyway, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.